You're gonna need for this job to take off the intake manifold on a e320 CDI is the following. You're gonna need yourself a ratchet, preferably this one that I'm using right now is from Husky. The head goes everywhere so that you can get into places. You need yourself a small and big screwdriver. Now you're gonna need yourself about 4 different extensions as shown here, like this. Then you're gonna need yourself E4, E12, E10, 8mm, 10mm, and preferably wobble extension like this one, like this here, or and also basically a wobble extension like this. You're gonna need yourself cutters. You're gonna need yourself something to take the fuel lines out with, and once they're completely loosened, which is like a pick like this. Just have another one here. And to make this job a lot quicker, you're gonna need a ratchet. This is from Milwaukee, so you can get the intake bolts a lot quicker. And like I said again, you're gonna need yourself that wobble again. Now, for doing this job, you're gonna need a new intake manifold gasket, a new EGR pipe gasket right here. And now, obviously this is the old one, and I had one laying around, and for basically deleting the flaps on this intake, which I have done, and also the EGR accidentally got lost here, so yeah. Okay, and then the flaps on this side, what you can do is, since the holes are pretty much very close to 1/4 inch NPT tap size, is you get yourself a 1/4 inch NPT tap kit, and you drill those existing holes after you take those flaps out, and you go to Home Depot, you get yourself some brass fittings, 1/4 inch again NPT, and you put some the white stuff, whatever you call that, and every single one of these, you make sure it's really snug and you have no flaps. Excuse the mess, it's a diesel, so it's gonna be a mess. All right, fuel lines first. You would have to take this one out first, and then this one out first. Yes, there's technically 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, once you have taken the fuel filter out, take out the EGR. All right, once you have taken that hose out, this hose that's coming from the bottom of the intake, you can wobble this in and out. And this is all gasket right here. So those 3 bolts are really what's holding this whole thing on. So you basically just get a screwdriver or something to pry this, and this whole thing comes off first. Better, obviously you see this. This came out one-handed. Okay. Oops. Ow, so hot. Now, once you take the EGR out, you're gonna see obviously there's so much more access to all the intake bolts. Now, next thing we need to do is the wiring. We have to take out the wiring from this car, which I'll show you exactly what to do. There is, I think this one right here is going to the starter, so you're gonna have to go underneath the car. All right, so underneath the car, this is backwards again. We have, you don't need to take this tray out. You can only take out the middle one and the back one, so that we can get access to the starter, and then we can get access to the level sensor, and we can have access to 2 more bolts that I'll show you right now. So you have to take 8mm. The bolts are going to be looking like this right there. The coolant is coming out obviously from when we took those hoses out. I don't really want to fill up drain the whole coolant right now. So your best friend is going to be this ratchet right here, or something electric, so that you can make the job so much quicker. All right, guys, so once we're under the car, we'll go underneath here, and where with the wiring, you're gonna have to disconnect this right here, and then you're gonna need some cutters. This was zip tied, and then you get yourself a 10mm with a wobble extension, And obviously, preferably if you have like this wobble extension, 10 millimeter, and you take that bolt out through here, and you can reach that 10 millimeter. It looks like a ground cable. Basically, that's the one that gives the starter signal to start or not. Right there. That's going to be the lead right there. Once you take that out, there's going to be two connectors right here. One rounded one and one bigger one right there. You disconnect those right there as well. So again, we got underneath, we got this right here, the ground from the starter, those two connectors. And then for the intake, we've got two other bolts. We got this one right here. I think it's E12, that right there. And then we got this other one right here. So we got 1 and 2 underneath. And then obviously we have the fuel lines, which we can do from the top, I think. 1 and 2. All right, so on the top, there is this crank position sensor right there that you can disconnect. There's a clip on this side. There's a small clip. Be careful destroying that sensor. Don't destroy it. Now, another thing. If you want to take this intake manifold without taking all this pipe, there's 3 bolts. There's one here. Right here, there's one here, and then there's one on the bottom, right here, right there. If you can see, I don't know if I can. Right here, those are E10s. You take those out. You take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bolts. Then you get every single one of this wiring off, basically, and then the intake should come out. Flat motor connectors right here. Disconnect that. One thing is not allowing you to take this intake out, once you have taken all this wiring out and put it on the side, is this, what I told you underneath. And this is most likely E12 or E14 from the bottom. We can eliminate not doing that, to be honest, by taking the swirl flap motor, and most likely it's going to come out. But we're going to take this out anyways, because on my case, I am going to be working and doing something here. All right, so in my case, obviously, these swirl flaps are currently still working because I've had a tune to delete the swirl flaps, and on the tune, they're basically open all the time. So I did that so that, you know, they don't fail closed and my car goes on a check engine light. So that is it for now. But I am deleting all these swirl flaps just because I had a boost leak, and I also had this that I needed to replace. I'm like, you know what, why not? I have an extra intake from another engine. I'm just gonna basically replace this, delete all the swirl flaps and this motor, and you know, basically clean everything up. It's the other one that's supposed to be on the car, and then this is how the intake looks. Now, what I did for this intake to clean, it's not really recommended, but the way I did it to clean it is, since it's carbon, it's kind of flammable. So I put some gasoline right here, and I got a basically a blower, air blower. And once I put gasoline here, there was flames, and I put an air blower here, and all the flame was basically pushing the carbon out. Then once I got that done, I got a pressure washer. I cleaned the inside as much as I could. As you can see here, it's really not that bad. Now it's not gonna happen to have issues with these flaps. All right, now to put this back again, obviously we're gonna do the opposite. So we are gonna mount this and this together as one unit. Once we mount it as one unit, I'll show you. Okay, so you're ready to put the intake manifold, and obviously the gasket is giving you trouble. So what you do is you get yourself some M7 1.0 bolts, and you get the longer version, and you cut yourself a flat line like I did right there with a grinder. You cut the bolts off, the heads off. Okay, so after you did that, you see to yourself how the new modified intake looks. Obviously, as you can see, you can take those things out after you put the other ones. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Again, be careful, very careful with the sensor so you don't break it. Put the all 14 bolts on. Again, buy a new gasket for that, and also for this right here, which I also did.